This has me thinking, if the Gorgon Wraith, or at least the parts for it, have returned, and I actually clicked on this and realised for some reason there's no mods on mine, now would be a great time to have a look at the Supra, if I can even find the thing. There it is. Of course there's a choice between the two. I think I'll concentrate on the Vandal for this because it has the same damage, but the magazine is better, it's got better crit, and it's a little bit more, dare I say, stable? And the only reason for doing this, and I have had to take a mod out for this, weirdly I had this thing built for status using the entropy burst, which I'm going to leave on with some elemental stuff. Oh, I've taken off the wrong mod. I should have taken this one off. I'll take that one off and put this in the Supra Incita. Pronounced that wrong. Because plus damage, plus puncture, this thing is puncture based, so it should work out in its favour. I didn't actually think it would go up that high. And taking it back off, so you can see the stats beforehand and putting it back in, it does make up for the corrosive. For some reason this is completely set up for corrosive. Not sure why that is though. I should have added another element to this, so it had the two. I had this entire thing built just for corrosive. Luckily that can be changed easily for anything that you happen to run. Definitely one of those weapons that looks better in its default colours. And wow, this thing, I used it a tiny little bit beforehand before looking at the build or anything else, and it was okay. Definitely needed more work, but throwing this on there was, it was like using an unmodded, uncatalyst Mark 1 Bratton and then jumping to a 6-former super built Soma Prime. The difference was huge. Of course, the Soma is now what the Supra was originally. It's still way better than this. But I honestly didn't expect it to be. The change was huge. I know it mainly came down to the fact that there's an extra riven on there. Well, there's a riven on there. I wish you could have two. That would be great, actually. But it was... there's no words that exist for how good this thing became. It's not end game stuff as people keep putting it, but it's still a huge improvement over what it was. But even without this riven in there, since the changes that came a while ago, I've wanted to jump back and try this. I got the riven solely for the purposes of doing this, and then put the riven aside and continued with everything else in the game, because the Supra, it was good once upon a time, for a very short period of time. Then the Soma annihilated it. The Supra, of course, was the upgrade from the original Gorgon, but the Gorgon Wraith is way better again. The Soma Prime is better than the Soma. It's a shame that the Gorgon doesn't work the way it did when it first came out, and this would also really benefit from working the same way that the Soma does, where you can use it to either shoot one round at distance fairly accurately or go full auto, kind of like you can with the Soma, which is why I loved that thing when it first came out. Still do. That is still a really useful weapon. This, it's not quite there, but it is a huge improvement. I mean, as I tried saying earlier, I just can't think of the words for this. The change was huge. The improvements were massive, and this thing is more now than it was a couple months ago, worth actually. It's just a shame that I think Barrow brought this a few weeks ago. I meant to do it then and completely forgot about it, so now we know that Barrow can bring this. It is once again obtainable, But even in the normal Soma, I think this Riven would work really well. The main reason I've always loved the Supra, not the Soma, is because you cannot buy the Supra. The only way to get this thing is to come into an energy lab inside of your clan dojo and pick up the blueprint here. The only way to get it. And of course the Vandal Barrow brings. So this is not one that you can just instantly jump into and start using because you have the platinum to be able to buy it. It looks really good. Visually, it's always looked pretty nice. It's kind of like a gorgon but fatter. And it does do a nice amount of damage. It is way better now than it once was. Which is, it kind of really shocked me. I thought this thing was going to be a little bit better than it was. I didn't expect a huge improvement. I'm putting that down solely to the Riven though, but it was still a huge improvement, and love having that syndicate effect on the weapon from that entropy burst thing, despite it being a Cephalon Suda mod. Not being with them made it a pain to get a hold of that mod, but it was worth it because that is also a really good mod. It's weird, but this thing worked out to be an amazing weapon after all of this time. Still not good for high level stuff, but for everything else this worked really, really well. Anyway, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch yous next time.